Everybody, welcome to Bobby Builds It. It's getting to be springtime. Everybody's building all these planters of various shapes and sizes. We're not going to do that today, but I think I got a legitimate scrap wood project that can help you separate from the competition when it comes to building those planter boxes. Stick around. Like I said, this is a legitimate scrap wood project. This is a piece of 1x8 left over from the cat tree video. You can see that in this card right over here. And we're going to turn it into some plant ID tags for your cedar planters or your garden or wherever you might. And this project is going to be really beginner friendly. It's only a few cuts on the table saw. I am going to use my thin rip jig and my setup blocks because I have them. I'll throw some links to these or something like them down below. Where'd the piece of wood go? We're going to start off making a 1/4 inch rip down there. We're not even going to really worry about milling this stuff up. It is a little bowed there, but I think we'll be all right safety wise and certainly for how the project's going to be. And the reason that I'm going to be using the thin rip jig is so the fence is set at a 1/4 inch. See right there. Well, that ain't going to do. And even my gripper, it won't do either. It's just going to hit. So we're going to use this and set the 1/4 inch on this side of the blade. And just get it in the slot here. I wish this thing had one bar. It'd be way easier to deal with. But here's what it is. And there you go. Get it in there. Lock it down up there. Take your setup block. Set it there. I want to raise the blade up just a little bit. I just like to be sure that I'm on a tooth. Loose in here. There we go. Make that touch. And there you go. The last step after you get this locked back down is you loosen these knobs again, move this back to the other side of the blade. Don't be trying to cut with it up here. You're asking for trouble. And of course, the last part for getting set up for the cut, other than making sure your blade height is good. Yeah, that's better. Just adjust the fence so the wood touches right there. Now I almost don't even need a push block, but I'm still going to use one. This is going to be the stake for our little sign, or the post, or however you want to call it. It's 3/4 inch. Luckily, I have a 3/8 inch setup block, so I don't have to fuss with my tape measure and everything like that. Just sort of make sure that's flush over there. I use that to find the center. Take the speed square. Put the pivot there. As best you can on this small thing. Find 45. And we'll try to do it on this side. And that's going to roughly be my point there. The miter gauge is set at 45 degrees. I've got my stop block set up so I can just flip it over and make the second cut. Let's knock this out. Now we've got the stake. It's roughly 8 inches tall. Of course, that's just going to be based on whatever your board you start out with is and whatever you think your customer might need. Next thing I want to do is I want to rip a piece that is 2 inches for the actual sign part. And then we'll just go ahead and cut this guy in half. That's going to be right at 4 inches for me. And as always, for this kind of stuff, it does not have to be the most precise thing in the world. We can go ahead and cut that at the table saw too. So now, with a little bit of glue, maybe some brad nails, you could be done. But that's a little more chunky than I kind of want it to be. I don't have any way of resawing something this size. So I'm just gonna cut me a little dado on the router table. Sorry, I meant to do the whole thing with a table saw, but I can't. I don't feel comfortable at all cutting a piece this size that way. I found a 3/4 inch straight bit for the router, which is good because that's how wide I am there. We'll bust out the setup block again for the 1/4 inch because that's how thick it is there. Just adjust the blade height. It is just barely touching the block. You can see it lifts up the block a little bit. We'll put it back down. We want it just touching. All right, that looks good. Fence is set up to cut it right down the middle. And this should be the last cut for this project. So, learned a couple of things not to do. I was trying to use this push block to go through this way, and I just wasn't able to get enough force back there, and it was getting sort of squirrely over turning this way. Didn't like that. Don't do that. Then I tried to use this push block, or just a scrap piece of wood as a push block, and it still had the same problem. Well, similar problem. It was getting stuck. And man, when stuff gets stuck, just stop what you're doing. I wasn't smart enough. Luckily, nothing crazy happened. But, and this is not a sponsored video. I swear it. Nobody sponsors me. I'm going to use the Grr-Ripper and see if it gives me enough control up against the fence and through to get these little short pieces made. And this is our end result. Yeah, that's rough over there. It's going to go in the back. And no, this is not for a customer. This is actually going to go in my own flower bed. This one, somewhere I got sort of sideways on it. You know, you can put it in there and it'll just be like whimsical or something instead of straight up. Like that one is. And now, is my dado good enough for cabinet work? No, I don't think so. But it'll work for this. I got one more thing I want to do to add some personalization before we do the glue up. The last thing I want to test is this wood burning marker, and I'll have a link down to these in the description too. It's got a fine tip or fat tip and a fine tip. Comes with some extra tips. I think there was 4 in the package that I got. We're just going to make our label here. And I'm just going to take a handy dandy heat gun. The instructions say 1 to 3 minutes. We're going to show you this one in real time. Just like that. Here we are, all glued up. But I wanted to show you that's what the burn looks like. This is just Sharpie. So you kind of have to think and decide on if you think those pens are worth anything. Unless this holds up way better being outside in the rain, it's a push to me. And if you're curious how the burn looked on darker wood, here's some cedar. This is the ink, the fire pen. There's some more. That's Sharpie. And on the squiggle, I held the gun on it longer and closer to see if this would burn better. And you can see it started to get to the wood a little bit. Again, try them out if you want to, or, not. There you have it. Y'all let me know what you think. This isn't an idea I've tested or anything. I don't really build the cedar pickets because so many people do it. But if you're somebody who's, out there making them and having some success, tell me if you think this will increase your profit margins or make them sell a little bit better offering something like this up. You can make it out of, whatever you got laying around. Reminder about the sticker board. If you want to get up there, get in contact with me and I'll put you on. If you want a Bobby Builds a sticker, send me an email. It'll be down in the description and I'll get one out to you. I thank you. Y'all be good.